And this is going to be a little different from the usual viewer level stream. And it is indeed quite a special moment because it is the first time since I began to stream Super Mario Maker that I have finished a new level that I'm able to clear check and demonstrate and talk about on the stream. So we're going to do that. We're just going to clear it 3 times, once from the start, one from each of the checkpoints, and kind of explain what we've gotten up to along the way. Afterwards, we'll have a code that is hopefully somewhat usable, and unless we find something that is very immediately game-breaking that's going to require a patch. And that does happen from time to time because we were fixing up this level all the way to the end. So let's take a peek at the Masker and Magikoopa. This was, of course, a concept that was made possible by the new additions in the 3.0 patch that came out last week. And you can see one of those new additions already, that being the Goomba mask. And a second of those new additions being the deactivated on-off bounce platforms, which are central to this level. Because I discovered very early on that there is a fascinating interaction with these bounce platforms, where the swamps, when they stop you, they send you below the platform rather than crushing you. Now that was something that was possible previously with mushroom platforms. But of course mushroom platforms of the previous sort all bounced you upwards, with no way to deactivate them. Thank you for the submissions, those of you who have joined me already. I am currently clear checking a newly completed level that I have just finished. It's very fresh. We were tweaking it really up till about 10 minutes ago. We will be getting to the viewer queue immediately after the upload. So enjoy. So the central concept of this level, as you can see, is all about switching in and out of the mask, depending on what kind of segment you need. What kind of segment you need to clear, rather. Now, it's rather convenient for our purposes that we took that very unnecessary depth there already, because I always try to put up at least a bit of an impressive time on the clear check for the single segment run from the beginning. Partly because, you know, when you submit to other players, one of the first things they look at is sometimes the clear time if they suspect that they're going to be in for something that is on the longer side, so I don't necessarily rush, but I try to keep it reasonable. So, the idea is that all of these Magikoopas are trying their best, under these current climate conditions, to practice responsible social distancing. Mario, meanwhile, can't decide whether or not he wants to wear a mask, and so he keeps trying to give these Magikoopas a hug. And if he successfully gives them a hug, he strips off his mask. It's very unhygienic, but it allows Mario to progress further through the level. So you can see one of the neat things about the Goomba mask is that it does not activate icicles. So icicles do absolutely nothing. But it does mean that as soon as you take off the mask, the icicles are able to drop. Now, I'm not going to show off all of the bonus hidden and optional content that I built into this stage during this run, simply because we are just doing the clear check before we get to viewer submissions. But there are some hidden secrets, including the typical NSMB style optional content of the collectible coins, which is something that also takes place in 3D World with the green stars, I believe. And I usually implement them in my levels as a 10 coin, a 30 coin, and a 50 coin, so you know which coin you have collected. So we passed the 30 coin a little earlier. So here we scroll down to one of the puzzle rooms, and they have, not really a puzzle, you know exactly what you need to do. You need to strip off the mask and get Swamp to blast your way further down. The issue, of course, is that you have to be very careful not to get smushed by the thwomp before it has successfully destroyed the ice blocks. Now, did I just break my own level? I think I am... Oh, no, I didn't. What happened was, because I'm still wearing a mask, the thwomp is no longer willing to hit me. And that's what these Podoboos or lava bubbles are for. They reactivate your ability to be hit by the thwomp. Down we go again. So, here's another room. And same idea. You gotta hug the Magikoopa. And that Boo is not impressed. Now, I should have seen those icicles coming, given that I tested this so thoroughly, and I guess my own trap started to work against me. So I hope all of you watching have been enjoying the 3.0 content yourself. I think it's been a very exciting time for Mario Maker. I spent way too much time this weekend just streaming some friends' levels and levels from communities and discords that I'm a part of. And so it is very nice, I think, to get back to some submissions from people who are active on Twitch, who are, no doubt, always full of neat ideas. Now, sometimes they have bad ideas, but hey, that's how you learn. So here we are again, strip off the mask. And then the Goomba makes the icicles safe again. Also allows you passage through the thwomps. Yes, I did actually take some time taking away the cheesy option of just going over the thwomps at the last minute, and that's a quality check that I very nearly missed. Now you can here touch the Magikoopa, or you can just touch the icicle, but you gotta be careful because stripping off the mask also activates the Charvard that have been hiding in the bottom right corner, biding its time. So we're back at checkpoint 1. Checkpoint 1 is technically the second checkpoint that we're going to clear check after we do this one, because it is in the subworld, which, as you can see, is the vertical world that we are using with a downwards auto-scroll, which is, I think, sometimes a little difficult to design around, since Mario's moveset is just generally oriented around going up rather than down. But we manage. And we're just gonna try to tap that guy lightly without touching the ice too far. We don't want to be crushed by the thwomp. Send that down, on we go. Okay, so. Oh, we're just gonna get nuked by that. Now, luckily, being the level creator, we know there's a mushroom in this tree, and that's going to help us a bit. Now, I normally don't do jump scares like the Boo that comes out, but there's a reason I let myself do that here, which is that since you are taking damage when the Goomba mask is knocked off your head anyway, you have a few frames of invincibility where when the Boo shoots out, it's not going to hurt you anyway, so it's really totally just a jump scare to throw you off and force you to make other mistakes like I did with the icicle the first time. So, here's the boss battle. You got Meowser kind of floating around, you ring the bell and you get a mushroom, and you also send down the Magikoopa, which you may or may not need. You don't absolutely need the Magikoopa to beat this fight, but you do need to try to strip off the mask in order to use the thwomp elevator to head downstairs. You head downstairs, grab Pow. The nice thing about Pow is that small Meowser, regular-sized Meowser, only takes 2 hits from it, so it's actually a very short fight if you know the solution and know what to do. Now, if you're watching this stream, you have seen the solution, but people who have to solve the puzzle for themselves will probably not be so lucky. So, just head up there. The other nice thing about Pow is that you can drop it in a couple of different ways, actually. So, here's the situation you're in where Bowser's gone, but you can't get back down. And that's why we have the Magikoopa bell as insurance. So, send the Magikoopa down, pop that off, and in we go. So, we're done. Or are we? Well, this is a Magikoopa level, so the flag is going to vanish on us at the end. We're going to have to bring it back, and we're going to have to get to the flag quickly before the next one zaps it. So I set the clock at 500 seconds, and we have 230 remaining on the single segment clear check. So it is doable in 300, which was the initial setting, but I always realize that whenever I put in any kind of puzzle solving in a level, that people are going to need that extra 100 or 200 seconds the first time they see something just to understand it. So we're going to do the boss battle again from checkpoint 2. This will give me an opportunity to show you a little bit of a quality hack that I put into this level. So you'll notice that this whole level depends on this thwomp elevator setting you down. This level also gives you a power block, so the question is, what happens if you lock yourself by grabbing the POW, this, and wait for it. Let's see if we can do it. Let's take some damage. Let's say you nuke the thwomps. Now it looks like we're soft blocked. Luckily, we have a reset pipe. So here's the reset pipe, and it spells out very explicitly not to thrust the POW into the wall. Don't do it. Never do it. And it sends you back into the fight. So, here we go. Round 2. Or technically round 3. So, let's strip off the mask. Whoops, gonna take some damage. So, why don't we ring the bell, grab a mushroom. Here we are. It's gonna send you down. Let's race for the POW. Now, this interaction is all about grabbing the Goomba mask and being forced to drop the POW, so you either have to take some damage and reactivate it, or you can ground pound it. Right now, Meowser and Charvarg are off screen, so what do? Come up here, we ring the bell, we summon the Magikoopa. Hey, thank you for the submission. We are finishing a clear check on a new upload that I have. You folks will be quite lucky in that you're already seeing all the puzzle solutions, and you see the code come up as soon as I have it, so you can race for the first clear. So, Meowser is probably hanging around down here somewhere. Oh, yeah. So that's what happens when he goes off-screen while you grab the Goomba hat. It is not a soft lock. It is always possible, as far as I've tested, to bring him back. It's just a matter of going to the right place. So we're just going to nuke him once, like that. Strip off the mask, go back down. Let's not get nuked by Charvarg. It is possible to fight Meowser entirely on the lower level, by the way. We're not going to show that right now, but we do have one more clear check attempt to do, so who knows. There you go. 2 hits. That's all you need. Grab a mushroom refresh. Down we go. And let's see the ending once again. Now, I don't necessarily want the player to just die here after working through the boss, so I actually do have a mushroom spot here. The sort of Magikoopa flag disappearing ending is meant to be a little bit of an annoyance, but it's not meant to be anything tedious. So, we'll bounce him, grab the flag, and now we will proceed from one more checkpoint, which is a checkpoint in Subworld 2. Now, this is earlier in the level because it's checkpoint 1, because I've placed my checkpoints after the Subworld transfers. Also notice the setup of the semi-solids to implicitly make this a one-way pipe. So we're going to send him down. This thwomp also confirms that the player understands that when you see hard blocks or ice blocks there, you should not get directly under the thwomp to be sent through the platforms like you would be earlier. You don't want to do that. Gotta let it bust things open first. sends you down. And now we're at this segment where it is in fact possible to finish this as Mario without the Goomba mask. It's almost certainly the hardest platforming segment in the entire level. But if you come down here without a mask, you can get through the icicle barrier right away. And the hard part about that is that it activates all of the bloopers, and so they no longer stand in place, and it makes the platforming significantly more difficult. So now we have to be careful to strip off the mask without getting under the forms. Let's get under. You gotta watch these lava bubbles. They are, of course, part of the check that is an anti-soft block mechanism for the segment above, had you kept the Goomba mask by mistake, but they also double as an obstacle, so... Now, we already stripped off the mask quite easily, so we didn't need to go to the lower level that time. But we will see the boss one more time. Mushroom spot up here. We already have one, but it's sometimes hard to tell how tall you are when you're wearing the Goomba hat. Hey, welcome to the stream. Welcome for the submission. Thank you for the submission, rather. We are just finishing a clear check on my latest level, which is going to be uploaded in just a minute. And then we will get to viewer levels right away after we grab that code. So, you're getting very thoroughly spoiled for how the ending segment and boss fight is going to work. But that is my treat to you folks, and as you wait for me to play your levels tonight, I encourage you to play mine and grab the first clear. Now, notice what happened there, that when the Goomba hat forces you to drop the POW, POW is actually a hard collision with Bowser. It's usually a soft drop, but when it hits Meowser, it hits it. So, it's very stylish when you can get the kill like that. Let's see if we have the timing to do it. No, can't. Almost. So, we need Magikoopa's assistance once again to strip off the mask. And then let's dodge the Charvark. And then let's go down. There we are. So here's the 50 coin. I did not show off the 10 coin location earlier in the stream, but it's not hard to find if you want to play this. So that's it for the clear check. Thank you for the GG. Now hopefully I didn't leave anything really game-breaking in there, and this version of the level can just stay up. So this level is called the Masker and Magikoopa, which is a title that came to me after I had already started the idea behind the level, but is a play on the classic Russian novel, The Master and Margarita, which is a novel that also features a giant cat. Except the shifty apartments in that novel are all in Moscow. I also left out the whole flashback sequence to Pontius Pilate. So, I think this is definitely puzzle solving. We probably want to force single player, but I don't really know if that's going to have much of an impact unless this level is extremely popular, so let's go with themed. And I'll change that if people are actually crazy enough to try to attempt this in multiplayer. I think it would be hilarious. I also think it would break a lot of the player progression. So, thank you all of you for witnessing this, dropping by. And I will go to my profile first of all in Force World. And I will get that code up once again. I have a pretty modest profile. This is only my 5th upload. Let's check my clear check time. 4 minutes and a half, which I'm sure is going to intimidate some people into thinking this is extremely long. It is one of my longer clear checks, and I thought this level was going to be on the heavier side in that respect. It is doable quite a bit faster in certain segments if you really do know what you're doing. So I'm just going to get some screenshots there for my own records. And excuse me while I just take a moment to change my stream title information and also write down the code. And yeah, thank you for staying for the explanation. I will be getting to the viewer queue momentarily.